come back to my panel of guests here in studio. And I'd like to start with you, Caleb, about, NASA is moving to court to seek prosecution of Ezra Chiloba. First of all, what informed that?
Yeah, I agree with lawyer Mwangi. Remember when the Supreme Court ruling came out, it pointed out the areas where IBC had in announcing the presidential election. And it was not done in accordance with the rule of law, and they laid out procedures of the electoral process. So it is actually evident that the responsibility of a fraudulent exercise lies squarely on the topmost people. In this case, we are talking of Chiloba and maybe Chepkati. But remember, as I said earlier, the full judgment does not yet come out. So probably that is part of the judgment that is coming to come out, to say clearly who bears the responsibility.
But what informs NASA? But NASA is already moving to court, even NASA, without that full
NASA is
determination.
Already going to court because somebody has committed an offense. And Chiloba, one, he was asked to provide the information that clearly did not, the server, the logs, and all that. So that is already disobeying a court order. So NASA have a right to go to court on the basis that somebody has committed an offense on two accounts: for failing to provide information as per the court order, number two, for overseeing a fraudulent exercise. Because if you don't follow the rule of law, yeah, that's basically committing an offense as per our constitution.
All right, Mr. Namamba, your take on NASA moving to court to prosecute Ezra Chiloba and other officials?
It is a red herring. It's a red herring. It's just part of the usual pre-election drama, the drama that NASA is so good at in terms of fomenting in the build-up to any election. I think Kenyans need to know that NASA is an enterprise anchored or constructed and anchored on the agenda of victimhood. Cry baby, cry wolf kind of mentality. And in Chiloba, they have constructed a scapegoat that must be used to like in the mode of a sacrificial lamb. So blame Ezra Chiloba for everything. I consider this premature, and the reason why I believe it's a red herring is because until the Supreme Court renders its comprehensive judgment in which we can be able to deduce whether there is any assigned individual personal culpability or responsibility, for that matter, responsibility that would lead to culpability, really you cannot start apportioning blame. Because even if you say that Chiloba takes responsibility for non-compliance with some court order, what are you relying upon? The court has not rendered any verdict to say Officer A or Person B failed to honor or to agree or to follow an order rendered by the court. And so I consider this really to be just part of the drama. And NASA would be best advised really to focus on October 17.
But by the time that the hearings were coming to an end, IBC had not yet submitted what they needed to do. That is, of course, opening up the servers and giving the information that the court actually asked them to do.
Only the court, only the Supreme Court can tell us whether the order they rendered in terms of full disclosure or compliance was fully complied with or not. None of the parties has the power, the authority to render that verdict. Only the court can do so. And in its ruling, in its detailed, considered judgment, the court will be able to tell us on order A or on requirement B, this was not fulfilled, or a particular party did not fulfill or did not comply with the order given by the court.
All right, but remember that also during the ruling, Chief Justice David Maraga also mentioned that IEBC, and I quote, that he said they refused to give out information that was needed.
Now,
that was
in my
in
view, Betty, what the Chief Justice in his wisdom is saying is assigning responsibility to the institution responsible for the elections. Now, for you to go into that institution and start apportioning blame within that institution, you've already identified, you've already isolated Chiloba, you've already isolated some 1,000 officers in this institution.
Right.
What is your basis? What is your rationale? What is your modus operandi in terms of isolating these individuals and assigning them culpability?
So you're saying that, we should know exactly why
yes, we
it's
have to know.
Chiloba and not Chebukati.
Why is it Chiloba and not Chebukati? Because as far as I'm concerned, Chiloba may be the CEO of this institution, but the chairperson, remember, unlike other institutions,
Right.
like institutions such like companies, for instance, IBC is an institution sui generis, as we say in law. It is an institution of peculiar or special kind, where the chairperson also bears executive authority. That is why the chairperson can decide Chiloba is going to be responsible for this today, or Chiloba is not going to be responsible for this particular matter tomorrow.
All right.
And that actually explains why Chebukati holds all the chips in terms of responsibility for this institution. And so as far as who bears primary responsibility and where the buck stops exactly, the buck stops squarely and unequivocally with the one Chebukati.
All right. Caleb, it's good that you're here.